right, ladies and gentlemen, long time no see, sort of. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another video. And in this video, we're going to be going over the all-seeing eye symbolism yet again. A little bit of explanation of the symbolism, talking about Matthew 6:33, and reading a quick excerpt out of the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions book from Alcoholics Anonymous, because it all kind of ties together. But first, story time. Been a little while. A couple weeks ago, I was doing some pressure washing, and it was raining outside, and it was kind of a big pressure washing gig, and thought I had put my phone in my rain gear pocket. Thought I had zipped up the pocket, and long story short, I didn't. So I fried my phone, like bad. Had to get a new one. But story time's over. To the point. Right. So in this video, we're going to be discussing the all-seeing eye, or the symbol that is on the back of the $1 bill, the pyramid with the all-seeing eye capstone, right? And of course, we all know one of my favorite talking points is the unity of one loves zero, right? Point being, there's a message that is not easily seen within that symbol that I'd like to discuss, right? So Mark Passio's talked about the trapezoid and that it's a symbol of mind control, which to an extent true, but within that trapezoid is the concept of the binary, right? It's the concept of logic, right? Logic and illogic is the entire system of logic, right? Part of learning logic is learning about logical fallacies, right? So logical consistency, logical fallacy, right? Well, a point that I wanted to make is found within step 2 of the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions book. And I'll read a little bit before getting up to it. But since we were brighter than most folks, so we thought the spoils of victories would be ours for the thinking. The God, lowercase g, God of intellect, displaced the capital G, God of our fathers. But again, John Barleycorn had other ideas. John Barleycorn being a euphemism, a symbolic name of alcohol. We who had won so handsomely in a walk turned into all-time losers. We saw that we had to reconsider or die. We found many in AA who once thought as we did. They helped us get down to our right size. By their example, they showed us that humility and intellect could be compatible, provided we placed humility first. When we began to do that, we received the gift of faith, a faith which works. This faith is for you too. So, humility / genuinity, in other words, truth, and logic, right? Intellect. Humility and intellect are compatible, so long as humility is placed at the top of that pyramid, right? You take away that capstone, the stone the builders rejected, so to speak, and you're left with only logic, and it's nothing more or less than a trapezoid, emphasis on the trap, right? Because ultimately logic, to a certain point, kind of undermines itself. But even Christ in Matthew 6:33 says, "But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Right? So placing principles before personalities, purpose before pleasure, placing similarities before differences is kind of the whole point of the AA program. You know, it's about getting down to the right size and the truth of the matter. You know, hence the principles behind the steps being about truth. Right? But you take away that capstone of the all-seeing eye, and you're simply left with binary, with no reconciliation between the paradox of the duality of 1 and 0, right? 1 and 0 equals duality, paradox, right? Because if something is both and separate, right? So 1 and 0, true and false is false. True and true is true. False and false is false. So think of humility / genuinity, truth, right, as like Genesis, the genes, the generation, whatever you want to refer to it as. Ultimately, the source of life comes first. Christ, or logic, is an offshoot or a secondary creation from God, right? It's one of the things that's kind of talked about by Christ, and that's really the point, is humility needs to be placed first. If humility is placed underneath, then that's not really a standing structure right there. This is the same concept as the pentacle and pentagram, right? You've got the upright triangle, or the upright star, that has the quintessence up there, and that's because it's ultimately placing logic as a secondary thing. Whereas the animal places the duality above unity. And it's something that Mark Passio talks about, something that Dylan Scotia has talked about. It's kind of one of the core essences of Freemasonry and other traditions, Kabbalah, right? You know, you've got the unity of yin and yang, whereas if you just look at them as separate things, and you're kind of missing the point, right? Missing the point. But I hope you guys got something out of it. It's been a little while. Been working on stuff, getting distracted by life, torching my phone with a pocket full of water, and just trying to do my best to make sure that I'm taking care of myself and leading by example, because I can't help anybody if I'm not in that position. I can't offer advice if I'm not following that same advice, you know. But anyways, I hope you guys liked it. I hope you got something out of it. If you did, great. If you didn't, keep coming back. Anyways, later.